So what's going on, guys? The Truck Guy here. Today we're unboxing and reviewing the Stanley Fat Max folding pocket knife. This is model number FMHT 10311. Guys, the Stanley Fat Max folding pocket knife. This should be a fun one. Guys, I just checked out another review on YouTube by Last Best Tool. It's another great channel. So I'm not going to hate on the channel. The guy calls himself Doc. He's got a lot of cool videos on there and produced a really cool video on the Milwaukee Fastback. And he bashed the Stanley Fat Max folding pocket knife. So I wanted to pick it up for you guys because I was just curious, hey, is this knife really as horrible as this guy makes it out to be? Or is this redeemable, guys? We like Stanley on this channel. We like Milwaukee. We're on the fence about DeWalt, guys. They've had some hits. They've had some misses. We like Husky. We like them all. We like knives, guys. But I want to check out this knife for you and let you know what I think. So, guys, let's jump into the video and let's do it. Alright guys, so the Stanley Fat Max folding pocket knife, model number 10311. I definitely want to check out this knife for you, but I want to talk a little bit about the video that I just saw. It was a cool tool alert from Last Best Tool, a great channel, so I'm not coming at you, but I wanted to contrast a little bit with Doc and his channel about what I'm seeing on the Stanley Fat Max folding pocket knife. But Doc goes into a nice description of the Milwaukee 1502 Fastback with blade storage. This is an incredible knife. He talks a little bit about whether it's legal. This is a gravity knife, so pretty cool description by him. And he really goes off on the gut hook. You know, at the end of the day, I'm not too huge on terminology. They call it a gut hook. You know, I use it for cutting twine, but I'm not going to get hung up on what they're calling it. It's a cool feature, and I like that on the 1502. So definitely a good knife, and a good review on this knife by Doc. But he gave us a nice review on the Milwaukee Fastback 1502, but he just ripped apart the Stanley Fat Max knife, and I was just kind of thinking, what the heck? So I was able to find it, even though he said it was discontinued. I was able to find it on Amazon, but it was kind of a third-party seller type of deal, so I'm sure it's still hanging out there on some shelves. So I was able to pick it up on Amazon for $23.54. So, Doc, you set me back a little bit. I had to, shell out a little bit to go grab this knife. But I was excited. It just came here today and wanted to jump down to the studio and give it a review. So guys, let's go ahead and get this out of the packaging and see what we think. So we'll pull it out of the packaging. What it says on here, stainless steel blade, slim lightweight handle, and a thumb stud. I was trying to figure out what this arrow meant and really could not figure that one out. It did not make a lot of sense to me. There's not much else on the packaging. So we'll go ahead and set this aside. We'll see if we can figure out exactly what that means. But I have not yet. Comment down below if you have any idea what that arrow means. But guys, first things first. This feels really good in the hand. And I will say, guys, this is a heavier knife. It's got some heft to it. It's got some weight, especially in the handle. And I really like that, guys. I mean, you don't want all your knives that you're carrying on you to be flimsy, have no weight to them. Sometimes you want a little heft in your hand. So I like that. And overall, it feels substantial in the hand. So one of the things, guys, that Doc just went off on that kind of, threw me a little bit is he freaked out about where the thumb position is on this knife, saying, it's just too low. And I agree with him if you're, gripping the knife like this, which really wouldn't make any sense, then, you know, I totally agree 100%. It doesn't make any sense to have your thumb in line with your index finger. But when I pick up this knife, my thumb rides up to the top of the blade there. So I actually feel like this knife feels pretty good in the hand. You know, I'm not going to lie. That was the point that, you know, caught my attention that he was talking about. And he pulled out this, you know, angle tool and was measuring different angles for different knives. And I agree that this is a little farther back, but, you know, my thumb rides up to the top here, and actually it feels pretty good in the hand. It's a little bit shorter knife, you know, so if you have huge hands, you're probably not going to like this knife, but I think if you're camping, if you're out in a field, something like that, this knife actually is going to feel pretty good, and you can get some decent sawing, you know, some decent rope cutting, whatever you may be doing. I feel like this feels nice and compact in the hand. And additionally, I really like this stud that comes off on the knife, and this is another thing that Doc just railed against, because he said, hey, you close the liner lock, it comes over here, and you've got this, you know, this stud on the other side. And he says, well, when you press it, the knife doesn't fully open. And I agree with that, but it's not a spring-assisted knife. If you have a knife like this is the 50 and 30 from Milwaukee. This is a spring-assisted knife, so you've got the same stud here on the opposite side of the blade. You press that down, your knife is going to spring open. So that's the difference between spring-assisted and having that notch or stud on the opposite side of the blade versus, in this case, you do have the stud that protrudes on the opposite side of the blade, but the interesting thing is, and this is a fairly easy one-hand open. It doesn't fly open, but I kind of like that little bit of resistance. But here's the key, guys. Here's the key. When you press down your liner lock, and I love this feature, that little stud hits your thumb, so you know that blade is closing, and that stops the blade, allows you to get your fingers out of the way, and you can throw down that blade. I absolutely love that. I've seen it on a few knives. I've actually been pushing for this to be on more knives because it's just an unbelievable feature. And, you know, the one-hand open, it's a little tight. I think it'll probably loosen up over time. Let me get it open here. You know, the secondary benefit of this is it kind of keeps your index finger from rolling up onto the knife. And, you know, sometimes, guys, you'll whip out your knife, you'll want to do a quick job, and okay, I've got to get my knife closed. And I've done this before. I've thrown the liner lock to the side, thrown down the knife, and it'll fly down, and I've just gouged my thumb before. Just all throughout the middle of my thumb here, I've just gouged it with this knife. Well, not this knife, it was another knife, but you throw this liner lock to the side, that stud right there hits your thumb, then you get your fingers out of the way, you can throw down that knife. I love that, guys. So I have to disagree with Doc there. You know, I kind of disagree with his two major points. I think, really, guys, it's a style thing. It's a comfort thing. If you don't like the knife, you don't like the knife. But, you know, on the first point, I think it is comfortable in the hand. You know, your thumb should be up top, on top of the blade, not, you know, far back. That wouldn't make any sense. And guys, I love that safety feature there on the blade. So the two main points as to why he doesn't like this knife, I actually do like those. So guys, just a couple other things he brought up in the video. You know, number one, he said the knife was a little bit too snug. Keep in mind, guys, these tend to loosen up over time. So the knife is fairly snug. You know, you can still get it one hand open though, and this is right out of the package, so I'm not really sure where he's going with that point. Some of my knives, you know, we have the Milwaukee Fastback, guys. We have the 1502. If we want to fly this knife open, we can go ahead and do that, and we've got our quick deployment knife. But if I'm working with a sporting knife like this, I don't necessarily always want this thing flying open and closed. As I just mentioned to you guys, this stud is awesome because I don't want this blade flying down on my thumb and my fingers. So I like that feature. I like that it's also a little snug. You can still get it one hand open, which is awesome. But hear that indication, guys. That's a solid liner lock by Stanley Fatmax. I think Stanley Fatmax knocked it out of the park with that liner lock. So I like it a little bit more snug. I love that indication up top that I'm open, I'm locked, I'm secure. And this liner lock, if you guys can see that, that's going to stand behind you all day. There's no wiggle, no wobble on this knife. So I love that. Guys, I hate to disagree with Last Best Tool and Doc, but I think Stanley Fatmax did a great job on this knife. And, you know, it's not going to be a knife for everyone. I'm not saying it's my favorite knife. But, guys, honestly, I like it a lot for a sporty knife. You know, it may be one of my sporty knives that I go to, because the funny thing about it, guys, is it actually just feels fun in the hand. It feels solid. It's really compact. It's really agile. I mean, how much more fun can you get? And guys, we're talking about Stanley, and they've thrown in this feature that I love. I love this little stud here on the bottom that protects your fingers. I know I'm going on and on and on about it, but I've been wanting that on more knives because I love it. I usually don't actually carry a sporty knife because I hate when it flies down and it'll occasionally hit my thumb and turns a good day into a bad day, guys, real quick. An uncomfortable day, to say the least. But I'm liking it. It's a compact tool here from Stanley, and I'm liking it. So, Doc, I loved your review. I thought you went into great detail, gave me a lot of information about the knife, but I wanted to check it out too. I disagreed a little bit with you, but I had fun reviewing the knife. And, you know, hey, if you see something on my channel, want to check it out and disagree with me, let's have fun with it. And guys, that's it. So please like, please subscribe, and as always, we'll talk to you on the next video.